Hi there, it's Eric Bakker, naturopath and author of Candida Crusher. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about jock itch. I've done a couple of videos on jock itch, but this one is going to dispel quite a few myths about curing jock itch, the treatment of jock itch. Jock itch is a condition I've treated now for a long time, for over 20 years. I've treated many women with vaginal yeast infections. I've treated many men with jock itch. I've treated children with diaper rash. I've treated adults and children with all manifestations of skin yeast infections like ringworm, for example. I've treated toenail fungus. But jock itch is an area that I believe I'm well qualified to give you some expert advice in. I had really bad jock itch in my 20s. I had some stupid advice from different practitioners and even my medical practitioner. Ridiculous advice. It took me a little bit of time to get rid of the infection, and I can remember how it drove me absolutely crazy. I lived in quite a warm climate in Australia at the time, and I made all the wrong diet and lifestyle choices, and these are things I don't want you to make. I've treated thousands of people with jock itch, so I'm pretty sure that if you follow some of my hints and tips, you'll be able to nail this thing without wasting a lot of your time. Some of the myths I'd like to dispel on jock itch, curing jock itch, include: don't waste your time using creams thinking you can cure the skin condition around the groin and the rectal area using a skin cream. It's just not going to happen, okay? You're going to get some symptom relief, but you're not really going to cure this thing. You really got to get to the deeper seated causes and triggers of jock itch and understand that this thing needs to be treated on a deeper basis if you want to cure it. Particularly if you've had it for many years, like some of my patients have. I mean, some guys even get crazy advice from their doctor, like using a vaginal cream for this problem. It's just crazy. These products weren't designed for male jock itch around the penis and the scrotum and the groin area. You know, you shouldn't be using them. I mean, you can even create damage for yourself using these medicinal creams, these medical creams made of chemical concoctions that weren't designed for us as guys, okay? I know we are, you know, we're still people. I mean, I shouldn't go into saying it's going to kill you, but it's just not designed for jock itch itself, okay? Symptom relief will occur, but let women use the vaginal creams, okay? And I'm going to give you a couple of good expert tips here, so let's get into it. Let's talk about a guy that I recently saw on Skype. A lot of my patients are on Skype these days. I'm going to call this guy Gary. That's not his real name. Now, Gary's a long-distance truck driver from Florida. So Gary does long haul all around US. Now, Gary's had jock itch for about 15 years, a long time, and he was really well and truly sick and tired of his condition. Gary spends a lot of time in the cab of the truck, as you can well imagine. Gary's choices when it comes to eating food are not all that good, which would often mean stopping at these roadhouses and, you know, and eating all kind of sugary and salty foods and soda drinks and lots of coffee and the wrong kind of choices. Even though he was having regular showers, he wasn't really that much into personal hygiene like some guys are, okay? So I spend a bit of time with this guy going over how he really needs to change his undergarments, if preferably twice per day when it's quite bad, severe condition. He needs to use cotton undergarments. He needs to use the tea tree oil based soap to keep the area clean, preferably wear boxers, and also, you know, at least once or twice a week, spend some time soaking that area in a bit of apple cider vinegar or a dilute tea tree oil mixed in water. That's going to help him quite a lot. And in summertime, he's got to spend a lot of time at the beach swimming. And if he can, is get some sun exposure on the groin, because that's going to help him considerably. I also found out this guy's got quite a lot of pubic hair, as he mentioned. So I told him to keep that area quite trim. So cut it short. Don't have to shave the area, but just cut it short and use a hairdryer after a shower to dry the area. Because remember, Candida likes moisture, it likes darkness, it likes warmth. These are breeding ground for yeast, okay? So, I mean, shaving's even better. If you can shave all that pubic region and keep it dry, you've got a lot less chance of jock itch, okay? So these are a couple of good tips already. Sunlight exposure, salt water exposure, dry area, clean area, cotton undergarments, tea tree oil soap. Buy yourself some tea tree oil that's water soluble. Normally we call water miscible or water soluble. That's going to help tremendously as well. And Gary, his lifestyle choices include also his diet. I want this guy to eat a better kind of food. So sugar and alcohol are going to feed up the Candida. Right? It's not really going to help him if he's going to eat a crap diet. So we spoke at length about the diet. You can read more about the Candida diet, the 3-stage diet at yeastinfection.org. I also put Gary on a product called Candida, my antifungal product, which helped reduce his intestinal Candida to a very large extent. So it was a combination of the diet change, these cleanliness and lifestyle changes, and taking the antifungal that's helped basically nail this infection for this guy. Now he's at the point now where he hardly even knows he's got jock itch anymore, which is fantastic. There's a danger in that as well, that he could go back to his old ways again. So, but I'm quite confident now that he's so happy now that he doesn't have this constant rubbing and itching down there anymore, which can be quite depressing for some people. So, can you use home remedies for jock itch? Yes, you can. But remember, they're going to relieve. They're not going to cure, okay? You're not going to cure this thing unless you get serious, making changes on several different fronts. You can use apple cider vinegar to help the area with symptom relief, but I highly recommend that you use an antifungal like Candida internally, as well as a diet change, right? So antifungal foods. What are some antifungal foods? Well, you can look at things like clove, okay, the spice clove, a couple of those per day, swallow them. You can look at garlic. You can look at coconut oil, a tablespoon per day. That's quite antifungal to take internally, in with your food. You can also rub a bit of coconut oil around the groin region. And it also makes a good sexual lubricant, coconut oil, because it is antifungal. If you're in an intimate relationship, make sure that your partner hasn't got a yeast infection, because you could be passing it from one person to another, okay? I see this pass the parcel happening quite often in relationships. So if you are in a relationship, please get your partner checked out or make sure that he or she has not got a yeast infection, because it can be a real problem. So those are a couple of good hints and tips for you to use. Make sure you do my quiz to see if you're mild, moderate, or severe. You can go to yeastinfection.org. You can read that site, but you can check out the quiz on candidacrusher.com. Okay, so go to that site, do my quiz, determine what the severity level is, look at some of my other videos on jock itch, and just remember, using creams externally will not cure jock itch. Okay, it will give symptom relief. I mucked around with this condition for about 18 months before I finally nailed it, when I realized I had to get rid of the Candida inside my intestinal tract. I had to get rid of that. I lived in a moldy house. I was drinking Coca-Cola. I was making all the wrong diet choices. It wasn't until I woke up one day and realized, I read a few books on yeast infection. I started to study naturopathy. I made the correct lifestyle changes, and I finally got rid of the jock itch. I got rid of the intestinal yeast. All my sinus cleared up, my skin cleared up, and it was incredible. I got so depressed at one point with Candida. I've had male patients that are suicidal from this condition. I've had guys crying on Skype. They don't want to live anymore. It's ruined their relationship. It's ruined their life. It's destroyed everything. So this condition can destroy your life if you don't get on top of it. All right? So take some of this advice on board and try the holistic treatment, and you too can cure your jock itch. Thank you for tuning in today.